and for public relations. Thank you.
Well, I would like to start with thank you to ASEAN Affairs for inviting me to speak at this meeting. And I would like to build upon many of the previous presentations by continue on seeing what can actually be done and some opportunities that I see. As Professor Saeed of AIT found, that the companies in Thailand often saw corporate social responsibility as charity, and many viewed it as a good PR opportunity. Well, I would like to invite you to take this a little bit further and see what linking up to an engagement like the Wetlands Alliance can lead to. But first I will start with setting the scene a little bit. Sorry, I think I'm not trained for this one either. Oh, there we go. Professor Yunus, founder of the Grameen Bank, pointed out that, now I think it's running away here. Can you get back to the first slide again? That one, yes. We must not leave the problem of poverty for the next generation to solve. And I think also it's true, neither can we leave a depleted planet for our children to inherit. And I would like to build further on what Professor Saeed also said, that we're looking at environmental and poverty issues at the same time. They are linked in many ways. Oops. Okay. Environmental problems are coming to the forefront, with water, air pollution, climate change, destruction, and depletion of our natural resources. As mentioned earlier, environmental resources underpin most of our economy. And according to Millennium Ecosystem Assessment, it identified that the value of the ecosystem services about 1.5 to 2 times the global economy. The exact contribution is not the important issue here, but without a healthy environment, as has been stated before, we cannot have healthy and prosperous societies. We need to work on mitigation, adaptation to climate change, protecting natural environment, but also work on employment and prosperous societies. However, the current paradigm in environmental management, including climate change, is that this is the realm of regulation, government, sometimes incentives for business and major emitters and polluters, and that government programs developed to help the poor and vulnerable to cope with impact. But can we really leave it to the government's responsibilities? As pointed out, they are also saying that they need help. It's too big a job for just the government. For example, if you look at Malaysia, the tax revenue is only 15.5% of the GDP. Now, that has to go to health, infrastructure, government salary, security, etc., etc. There is not that much left over for environmental issues. Foreign aid is a drop in an ocean compared with the requirements. And it has not been enough in the past, and it's not going to be enough in the future. And therefore, we need to look for these partnerships. I should say, I come myself from the development sector, involved in foreign aid projects, etc. I know that there's always a lack of resources for what is set out to do. Copenhagen was mentioned. It was a failure in what it tried to achieve, but it was a wake-up call also. It's unrealistic to rely on governments to fix the environment problems. It's too big. So here is what I think we need to look for: a role and opportunities for private business and people in general. Just to reiterate what was said, the scenario, if we don't do anything, if we go at business as usual, is rather scary. Remember, there are projections of saying that may be up to 6 degrees increase, where the safe level was proposed to be 2 degrees. And there's no need to further elaborate on this scenario, which is rather scary. So, turning to the eco-economy. Eco-economy is simply an outlook that includes environmental aspects in our economic and social activities. It moving beyond simply compliance with existing regulations and eternal pilot projects for PR purposes. We need to consider the implications of the business as usual and shift to this more inclusive approach in the future. It's expressed in different ways in the EU and Europe. Many times they have life cycle analysis. They're looking into Coca-Cola, for example, working with WWF in trying to secure water supplies for the future. But address the problems of climate change, we have to address not just the environment and the emissions, but also the issues of underemployment and poverty. And many development agencies are turning to business for this, not just as a tool, but also as a yardstick. If business can make it work, then in my field, I'm often told, then it's going to be sustainable. If I work with foreign aid money and subsidize things, it's just going to wash out in the sand. So it's increasingly incorporated in the development sector's yardstick of what is good and bad development. So I think I'll skip this one and go more to the interesting part of what I wanted to propose. Where can business get involved? Well, we see new technologies, we see CSR initiatives, we see microcredit, we see social business. We want something of new ideas that can transform things like mobile phones have. Mobile phones have transformed society in many areas and reaching out, and now people are using them in many, many innovative things that they were not from the beginning. Or like motorbikes have for transport in Southeast Asia and beyond. We want business to be engaged to help us finding these solutions and these ideas that can be transforming in development. So what I want to present here is concretely what a little project that ours have to offer business and opportunities to look at various engagement that we can assist with. We are an association of agencies working together in rural development, and we often start with water issues, but we move on from there. We're about 40 agencies for the moment working together, and we're working at quite local level down to the district level in many of the countries where we're engaged. Our local partners work directly with target communities. Our regional partners, which includes Asian Institute of Technology, provides technical backstopping. We address environment and climate change as part of addressing poverty, and engaging business in our work is part of our mandate and responsibility. Here is what we see in the areas where we're working. We're not working in Malaysia for the moment. We're working in these 4 countries, but we are in the process of engaging in Myanmar and potentially in other countries in the region. We support mushroom growing. Now, we would like to see business coming in and help our partners that are doing it in better marketing. We are stuck a little bit in processing, in being able to get the produce out and have a quality. We would like to see engagement there. In Vietnam as well, we work in honey production. Again, quality control, marketing, processing, and production. We needed engagement there to see what we can do to help these emerging groups in their production. We support something called crab banks, which is actually basically trying to ensure that young crabs are not being taken out of water as raw, but actually have an opportunity to hatch. And we see this as part of stabilizing seafood supply. This is in coastal Cambodia. Under the community fisheries management, there are opportunities to make partnerships with these community fisheries because they actually have the legal right to manage all of the fisheries in a demarcated area. Restoring natural capital, which was referred to in McCoy's presentation earlier, is part of this process. In conjunction with this, we also work on fattening crabs for increasing the market price to ensure that you get more crab meat to the markets. And again, marketing and post-harvesting, as well as ensuring quality of these seafood products, we see as an engagement opportunity. In Cambodia as well, we work on rice intensification, SRI practices to reduce water costs and reduce other input costs while maintaining productivity. And we see investment in increased productivity and better marketing, and also reduced post-harvest losses. The rice is perhaps not the best example, but FAO estimates that somewhere between 10 and 25% of the value and the production of the rice is lost to post-harvest losses. So there is opportunities to assist with this, which would mean real production and quality increases.